Chapter 7. Edie showed up for the walkthrough at the Hamilton's Park Avenue apartment on Monday at 10 in the morning. A thin black leather belt cinched her gray suit jacket, overlaying a flowing black silk skirt. 3 black glass bead ropes and a pair of black closed-toe chunky heels completed the ensemble. Their butler escorted her through the chandelier-lit foyer with black and white checkerboard flooring. Some sculptures along with oil paintings adorned the area. She heard Michael Hamilton's booming voice through the living room's frosted glass French doors. And before seeing Natalia Hamilton, she smelled her signature scent, a blend of lavender and vanilla essences. "Good morning, Natalia." Natalia grabbed Edie's hand and practically dragged her upstairs. "The walkthrough won't be necessary. Michael and I viewed your work on Sunday," the 40-year-old advised as she ascended the stairs, her large bosom and double-strand pearl necklace bouncing. "We love the first floor. The ambience is sophisticated and great for entertaining and business meetings." "I'm glad you're satisfied," Edie smiled. Having performed interior design work at the Hamiltons' other residences, as well as for their acquaintances, she knew the couple's preferences. The 2 women entered Natalia's second-floor pink boudoir containing massive floral paintings, 2 velvet love seats with rolled arms and deep button indentations, and 2 antique wooden framed high-back sitting chairs with little angels carved into the wood. "Dear, I need to discuss a matter with you." Natalia Hamilton's blue eyes began to flicker as she and Edie sat on a mint-colored Levis seat with lion-like legs. "Natalia, what's up?" Edie asked, eyebrows raised. "Michael's friend, Julian August, is in town and asked him about you." Natalie began to finger her pearl necklace. "Julian is looking for a companion for a couple of days." Natalia continued to finger her pearl necklace. "Michael told him that you weren't dating Adrian anymore. Are you available? All of Michael's friends have lots of bread. Why not accompany him? He could open new doors for me," Edie thought. "I wouldn't mind accompanying him." Edie's lips curved into a smile. "Great. Julian will touch base with you." A sense of relief washed over Natalia's face as she hugged Edie. "Dress conservatively and wear your hair up." While taking a bath, Marie ranted and lashed out against Jane for slapping her and for being present in the suite. "I'm gonna get that heifer for slapping me. She done it took over my kitchen and she's eating up my food. What kind of blouse and pants is that heifer wearing?" Marie laughed and soon thereafter got quiet as a gloominess came over her and the feeling things were about to change and not in her favor because of Jane's presence. "It's been a long spell since Bouchard brought another colored woman in here. Ain't nothing special about this one. Her a little darker than me, but my bosom and my butt are bigger than hers. At least them women that fooled with Clarence Henry don't bother me. They were scared and cried just like me when I first got here. They used to talk to me then. They stopped and put all their hatred for Edith onto me. That's when I decided not to tell them how to get out that dressing room through that door with the glass knob. I saw the fancy dresses, pretty shoes, and jewelry they had in there. When Bouchard put that wall up, it stopped me from going in there. But I hear them talking and see them sometimes. I like it that way. They don't bother me, and I don't bother them." As Jane made breakfast, the aroma of bacon and coffee brewing broke through the heavy scent of gardenias in the kitchenette. She was growing weary of the windowless suite as well as the overpowering fragrance of gardenias. She missed inhaling the salty sea air, observing the ocean and the sun, and feeling the sun's warmness on her skin. Several hours ago, Jane left the safety of the bathroom, smudged the kitchenette, living room, hallway, and parlor with the sage bundle. While smudging the parlor, she heard Marie uttering, "Oh yeah, baby," accompanied with moans of ecstasy from behind the shut bedroom door, prompting her to hurry back to the bathroom and locking the door and attempting to figure out who was in Marie's bedroom. Marie suddenly appeared in the kitchenette's doorway wearing a blue lounge set and white sex kitten fuzzy heels. "Ah, sees ya up and cooking my food." Marie placed her hand on her hip. "You don't have a problem with that, and you don't have a problem living in a place filled with death." Jane turned over some bacon strips in the iron skillet and was glad she brought the fireplace. Poke her along instead of leaving it in the bathroom. If you want something to eat, cook it yourself. I will. Heffa, you just stay out of my way. Marie rolled her gray eyes at Jane and glared at her. Marie, a few hours ago, it seems like you were having a mighty fine time. Jane grinned, showing all of her teeth. I heard you shouting, "Oh, yeah, yeah, baby," and moaning joyfully. Embarrassment flung its body across Marie's gray eyes and face, and her jaws twitched slightly. You need to mind your own business. I knew that wasn't Bashort in your bedroom. Girlfriend, who's the mystery man? Jane pressed, laughing. Heifer, just keep it up. When I beat your black ass, you won't be laughing then. Marie pursed her lips and left the kitchenette boiling like a saucepan filled with water on a burner set extremely high. Whoever is messing around with Marie comes and goes like Edith, and Bolcourt is frustrated that he can't stop the visits, Jane concluded. The brunette human doll twirled one of her feet around from the ankle as she sat on a bent wood chair. Did you notice there isn't a calendar, clock, or radio in here? Or any windows either? The redhead leaned back in the couch. I think we've been here for more than a year. What makes you think so? The brunette quizzed, changing into another evening gown. Pants like Jane's weren't in any of the department stores that I recall, the redhead replied. She was carrying a funny-looking purse, and I don't ever remember seeing one of those. The brown-haired human doll applied some red lipstick to her lips. Her hairstyle and hair color are certainly different from the colored women that I've seen. The blonde doll crossed her legs. Silence drifted over the dressing room like dandelion seeds on a windy day as the women considered Jane's hairstyle attire, in the likelihood they'd been occupying the windowless dressing room for numerous years. All of a sudden, bits and pieces of recollections from their former lives surfaced in their consciousness. We've lost track of time. The redhead's jaws tightened. We've forgotten about the sun and moon. The brunette stared off into space. And about our families and friends, too. Ladies, back to your poses. The redhead stood up from the couch. We've got to save our energy to kill Edith. Zora had a flash of 5 women wearing 1940-ish off-the-shoulder evening gowns. Their hairdos included short hairstyles like Ingrid Bergman's Maria cut, wavy, pin-curled long tresses, similar to Rita Hayworth's, and pompadours inspired by Katharine Hepburn's. She questioned whether the women had anything to do with Jane. The office landline phone rung, Zora answered it and proceeded to converse with the caller. Charlotte called her mother, Jane, on Monday afternoon and was surprised the call went to voicemail. She must be really busy. I'll email her when I get home. Charlotte placed her cell phone in her purse. On Monday evening, when Edie slid into the black leather seat of the limo and the bodyguard shut the limo's door, "You're quite beautiful," Julian remarked, "and I love your outfit. If you only knew how many dresses I tried on before I came across this plum midi one." The white leather bolero jacket, clutch purse, and white slingback Louboutin heels were no sweat. It took me a while to style an elegant French robe, but I nailed it. Edie took into account. "Thank you," Edie replied, gazing into Julian's light blue eyes. Julian is a cutie. I'm dying to run my fingers through his curly blonde hair. The black limo crawled along the heavy evening New York traffic. The sidewalks were packed as usual, and skyscrapers illuminated the night. The limo's partition was raised, and classical music filled the cabin. Sitting along front beside the chauffeur, the bodyguard exuded the air of a former mercenary. Julian extracted an ink pen and a non-disclosure agreement from the inside of his navy blue suit jacket. "Your signature is required," he stated, giving her the ink pen and the agreement. Since NDAs were standard procedure in her world, she swiftly scanned the agreement and signed it. He placed the document along with the ink pen into his inner suit pocket after she returned them. "I'm looking forward to spending the evening with you." He smiled. "We have a lot in common." He grabbed one of her hands, kissed it, and then held it. "What could we have in common?" Edie considered. Julian spoke about living in France and made inquiries about her interior decorating business. She welcomed his questions since he was a venture capitalist and could assist her in its expansion. Before long, the limo arrived at the exclusive private club where Julian was hosting his business dinner. Antique furniture, chandeliers, and camel-colored tufted leather. Chesterfield couches and Levee seats adorned the interior. She was the only female present when introduced to Julian's male guests, and Edie took care not to come across as foolish. Throughout the business meeting, Julian kept a close eye on her. She made sure to occasionally smile at him as he and his four guests discussed the state of the global financial markets. After dinner, they attended a soiree held at one of the super tall buildings on Billionaires Row. Edie caught Julian observing her as he conversed with some guests about their startups. An acquaintance Edie knew from the interior decorating world approached her for a chat and advice. Around 12 p.m., Julian whispered in Edie's ear, "We're leaving. I'm dead tired. I have early morning meetings scheduled for Tuesday." When the limo arrived at her apartment building, she was escorted to her apartment by Julian and his bodyguard. He gave her a kiss on the cheek and left. While undressing and preparing for bed, she reflected on how Julian had been a perfect gentleman throughout their date and whether she passed his acid test. Edie yawned and then muttered, "I'll deal with Marie late in the morning."